The water's surface appears still, yet danger is never truly at rest. The crocodile presses low along the muddy bank like a living trap from an ancient age. It does not display its strength, choosing instead to wait for the exact moment to close the distance. Each encounter captured on camera shows that nature often favors the more patient side. Within waters that seem ordinary, what makes the crocodile the greatest source of caution? Crocodiles are ancient masters of ambush. With eyes set high on the top of the head, they can remain perfectly concealed beneath murky water while waiting for the precise moment to act. Rather than chasing prey over long distances, the crocodile concentrates its power into a sudden burst of speed and a powerful rolling maneuver that secures control. With an extremely low metabolic rate, it can wait patiently for months, trading long stretches of stillness for a single decisive second of action. On the African grasslands, lions hold the authority of land-based rulers. With a weight of around 400 pounds, they can burst into motion in an instant, but their greatest advantage still lies in their ability to coordinate as a pride. Yet along the edge of muddy rivers, that power begins to meet its limits. The Nile crocodile is almost made to control that boundary. When lions attempt to cross the river, even the slightest movement beneath the surface is enough for the crocodile to judge the right moment to approach. In that instant, what keeps a lion safe is no longer strength, but alertness and reflexes quick enough to preserve distance. And encounters along the riverbank rarely end there. They leave behind a lasting caution on both sides. The balance shifts only when the crocodile exposes itself on shallow ground. At that point, the lions quickly use their advantage in numbers, closing in from several directions and forcing their rival to keep turning. Their agility helps them maintain pressure, while the crocodile tries to hold a defensive position with its thick armor and deeply intimidating jaws. But on dry ground, the advantage no longer belongs to the ambush hunter of the water. In the end, the crocodile usually has to find its way back to the river, where the balance tilts in its favor again. From the opposite side, even when lions are holding food near the water's edge, they still cannot afford to relax completely. Just one sudden movement from the dark mud is enough to make the entire pride step back at once. At the meeting point between land and current, power does not belong absolutely to the stronger species, but to the one that commands its own space. wildebeest are among the most enduring marathon travelers of the Serengeti Plains. Weighing up to 600 pounds, they carry a powerful migratory instinct in the search for life. Each year, a living current of nearly 1.5 million animals begins a demanding journey across vast distances. Before the fast-moving Mara River, young calves may only see a source of water, while experienced adults pause, memories of past dangers still lingering beneath the cloudy surface. Beneath the water, Nile crocodiles reaching up to 16 feet in length may have been waiting for weeks, sometimes even months. They do not rely on long pursuits, but on silence, positioning, and the moment when the herd disrupts its own formation as it enters the river. Once the crossing begins, the strong current quickly breaks the cohesion of the herd. A single misstep, or one animal drifting too far from the group, can place it in serious danger. Powerful jaws with a bite force of about 3,700 pounds per square inch may surge forward in an instant, pulling a target away from the river's edge amid splashing water and the thunder of hooves. Each migration season, thousands of animals are lost along these rivers. Yet in nature, that loss does not go to waste. What is left behind contributes more than 1,000 tons of nutrients that sustain the river ecosystem for months afterward. At this fragile boundary of survival, one quiet ending often becomes the beginning of new life. In the realm of predators, boldness always carries a costly risk. The leopard, a cunning hunter weighing about 150 pounds, sometimes dares to challenge the master of ambush by claiming prey near those formidable jaws. But the Nile crocodile never forgets. It waits in silence, patient and watchful, for the single moment when balance can shift again. When the leopard is forced to cross the territory of its rival, a sudden snap may erupt from the water. In that split second, the cat struggles intensely to break free from the grip of dozens of sharp teeth. Its natural agility may allow it to pull away at the last moment, a stark reminder that beneath the water's surface, the crocodile holds the advantage. A similar risk surrounds the cheetah. Even as the fastest land animal on Earth, capable of reaching about 70 miles per hour, that speed offers little protection against a sudden surge from the river. In barely 0.2 seconds, faster than a single breath, the crocodile can turn an ordinary drink of water into a life-threatening moment. For the animals watching nearby, it becomes a powerful lesson. Vigilance is not merely a habit, but the only safeguard that allows the rulers of the land to see another sunrise. Amid the murky wetlands of Africa, The hippopotamus appears like a living fortress that is extremely difficult to challenge. An adult can weigh up to 3,000 pounds, carrying dense muscle capable of driving its full mass through the water in an instant. With jaws that can open to nearly 150 degrees and tusks approaching 20 inches in length, it does more than guard territory. It firmly enforces its presence. At the water's edge, a Nile crocodile watches quietly, sensing even the smallest vibration in search of a gap within the hippo's solid formation. Opportunity usually appears only when a young calf falls briefly out of rhythm, drifting beyond its mother's protective circle for a few seconds. Even when such a moment emerges, it remains an extremely dangerous gamble. When the fortress responds, the balance can shift immediately. An adult hippo may drive forward with immense mass, forcing the crocodile toward shallower and less favorable water before delivering a powerful bite of around 1,800 pounds per square inch. Amid the collective force of the group, the ambush hunter often finds its options quickly limited against the hippo's thick skin, which can reach nearly 2 inches. In the wetlands, the lesson is unmistakable. At times, calculated strategy must yield to sheer strength and the order of the herd. Leaving the African savanna behind and moving into the watery maze of the Pantanal, a dramatic shift in dominance unfolds beneath the flooded forest canopy. This is the domain of the caiman, ambush hunters about 8 feet long and weighing roughly 120 pounds. Yet from the dense vegetation, a pair of golden eyes studies the scene with remarkable precision. It belongs to the jaguar, the only big cat that has turned these wetlands into its own arena. Unlike many distant relatives, the South American jaguar possesses an extraordinary bite force of about 1,500 pounds per square inch, a biological tool capable of ending a confrontation with a single precise hold on a vulnerable point. When the jaguar releases its sudden burst of power, it is not merely hunting, it is executing a carefully calculated strategy. In a flash, the spotted figure dives toward the water, neutralizing its rival's ability to respond before it can retreat into deeper channels. Even as the struggle unfolds in the water, the jaguar's powerful shoulders allow it to maintain control, pulling the wetland hunter up toward the steep riverbank. The encounter ends in the quiet of the vast forest, where the jaguar reaffirms its commanding presence, leaving a lasting caution for those that once felt secure in the depths of the mud. Along river sandbanks, wild boars have never been easy targets. An adult can weigh up to 200 pounds, carrying tusks about 4 inches long and reacting quickly to any unusual signal in its surroundings. At the water's edge, even a brief moment of distraction can create an opportunity for a crocodile to move closer. From the calm surface, it can surge onto the bank at speeds of around 11 miles per hour, attempting to close the distance within only a few seconds. For the wild boar, however, vigilance remains the first line of defense. In other situations, especially when young are nearby, the balance can shift the other way. A mother boar lowers her center of gravity, drives forward with determination, and creates enough pressure to force the ambush hunter to hesitate. At the boundary between land and water, strength doesn't belong only to the one that strikes first, but also to the one that holds position and protects what matters most. The surface seems calm. Then it suddenly erupts, as if an electric current just surged through it. Piranhas strike in a flash, closing in from multiple directions within seconds. They should not be mistaken for harmless or small. Their power lies in reflexes and cold, coordinated timing. One wrong beat, and the line of survival collapses, with every escape route feeling sealed shut. And when the whole school surges in, the rhythm of life flips instantly. If a lone catfish tries to bury itself in the mud, holding still and slowing its breathing to avoid being noticed. But to piranhas, hunger and vibration are signals. The whole school slips out of the dark, tightens the ring, and keeps shifting positions like a silent guard line. In such a tight space, the catfish cannot create enough buffer to break away. Within minutes, resistance fades completely, leaving water so still it feels chilling. It shows that the one who lasts is not always the most aggressive, but the one that reads the rhythm of the environment correctly. In the Amazon, caimans, especially black caimans, feed on many kinds of fish, and piranhas are part of that menu. But when the rhythm flips, a weakened caiman lying still in quiet water can sometimes become a signal to schools of fish silently patrolling nearby. At that point, piranhas gather by reflex, using available organic matter as part of the river's natural cleanup process. They consume what remains quickly, helping reduce the load of decay in the water. As a result, swamp areas become less foul, and the ecosystem can keep moving in a steadier rhythm. With capybaras, risk is not always constant. Only high-stress conditions like low water, scarce food, or a weakened animal in the water can push the situation into a danger zone. When a capybara reaches the water's edge, it can slip into that zone without realizing it. Beneath the murky surface, the piranhas close in, tracking vibrations like an automatic machine. Everything happens in a blink, leaving the surface calm again as if nothing happened, the result of survival instincts rising fast. In vast basins like the Amazon and the Orinoco, where the water is often warm and murky, piranhas exist quietly as a familiar part of the living system. They are not there to serve as a symbol of fear, but as a steady link in the chain, using whatever food is available, including leftovers and organic fragments, to help the current keep moving in a stable cycle. In the wild, there are more than 30 different piranha species. Because it is the most famous, the red-bellied piranha is often tied to an aggressive image, while many other species live discreetly and adapt to local conditions. At the other end of the spectrum, the black piranha draws attention for jaw strength relative to body size, a reminder that what is truly formidable is not always loud, but consistently efficient. Those sharp triangular teeth were not made for display. They are survival tools, allowing flexible feeding and quietly helping keep river systems cleaner in their own way. And that is the point. In nature, strength is often not about showing off, but about adapting, maintaining balance, and keeping life in motion. When a bullfrog drops into a shallow pool, a school of piranhas immediately reads the vibrations and triggers a coordinated pursuit. At first, the frog assumes stillness will hide its presence among mud and rotting leaves, but only seconds later, the surface erupts. With an exceptionally high bite-to-body mass ratio, the formation keeps shifting to close every gap. In South America, seasonal rains and flooding can push red-bellied piranhas right up to the base of stork nests. If a chick slips and falls, they seize the opportunity at once. In seconds, the encounter erupts, and the small target is gone. It is an efficient survival tactic, minimizing time spent exposed while conserving energy in the highly competitive waters of the Amazon. A carp weighing about 5 pounds drifts into the territory of a school of red-bellied piranhas. In the cramped tank, they tighten the circle like a silver whirl, surrounding a target many times larger than any one of them. Each hard thrash only sends vibrations through the water, unintentionally triggering the group's competitive feeding reflex. The takeover happens at a dizzying pace. With a strong bite and sharp, triangular teeth, the school delivers a rapid series of decisive snaps, breaking the target down with striking precision. In under 60 seconds, the foaming, churning surface settles back into an unsettling stillness. In another situation, the target is a snakehead about 15 inches long, with thick scales that make it look armored. But against a group strategy, that advantage is no longer enough. Once surrounded, the piranhas focus on the softer fins and the tail with about 70 psi of bite force, causing the freshwater killer to lose its ability to steer. The pressure stays relentless, and within just a few minutes, the fight for control turns the snakehead into a modest meal. When the feeding rush ends, what remains is not a spectacle, but a cold lesson in survival discipline. The group coordinates at the right moment, targets the right weak points, and leaves almost nothing wasted in that tight space. By nature, piranhas are opportunistic feeders, drawing on many food sources within river systems: small fish, aquatic animals, organic scraps, and at times even plant matter. But when confined in tight holding tanks, they can shift more easily from cautious behavior to heightened aggression. Limited space creates sustained stress, making conflicts over food and position happen more frequently and more intensely. Unlike a wide river, where there is room to avoid contact and split into smaller groups, artificial conditions turn even small pockets of water into pressure points, where stress and hunger can push instincts to the surface faster than normal. In murky water, an encounter between a school of piranhas and an anaconda becomes a true worst-case scenario. Sensing vibrations from a rival that can weigh up to 550 pounds, the school immediately closes in. There is no need for showy displays of power. The fish move as a unit, forming a quiet surround that still carries sudden, overwhelming force. Repeated strikes focus on weak points, until even a swamp-dwelling reptile is forced to give ground to the numbers. Facing an eel, a species that moves with extreme agility, becomes a test of speed and reflexes. In a cramped tank, a roughly 3-foot-long eel thrashes hard, slipping through the smallest gaps in search of an escape. The piranhas use a gradual trimming strategy, targeting the fins and the tail to limit the eel's movement. Once the eel can no longer steer, the entire school surges in, dividing the meal in a calculated chaos that ends a desperate getaway. Although piranhas are known for living in schools, they still follow a cold rule of survival when resources run thin. When a member of the group is injured or shows signs of weakening, the others may turn on their own kind without hesitation. Under intense feeding pressure, even a red-bellied piranha can be rapidly overwhelmed by the same fish it had hunted alongside only minutes earlier. It is nature's unsentimental logic. Weakness becomes fuel for the rest to endure. The river will grow quiet again, but the presence of the ancient ambush hunter always remains. Each encounter passes quickly, leaving only wet mud and a long, lingering silence. If these real stories of survival are compelling, you can press like to support the journey. You can also subscribe so you do not miss the next dramatic moments. Nature always keeps its most astonishing surprises until the very end.